I tried recording it this morning and it worked, so we'll see. And Ash is back.
Sorry about the noise.
That's okay. My cat will almost undoubtedly be by here in a minute, so.
No, we love cats.
Good. And I have a new weird computer keyboard, and it clacks. I mean, it's really loud. So if I have to type, you'll know it's me. Okay, at 6, we'll start, and people will come and go, and you'll fall in and out, and, you know. Some of you people, I know your names, but that's not what I think you look like. So it'll take me a little while to get going with it. Did anybody have any trouble connecting? Good. Good. And I'm guessing you looked at the announcements, because that's where I like to put stuff. So be sure you keep an eye on it. And sometimes I'll put things that'll be really helpful in there. So what time zones are you guys in?
I'm in Eastern time.
Okay.
I'm in Mountain.
I'm in Central.
Ash, where are you?
Hang on. I just moved into Mountain Time. So
Amy?
Now it's easy for me to keep track. I'll never miss anything.
Good. Amy?
I'm in Mountain Time as well.
Good. Melissa, I know where you are. And is it Kyla? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Kyla, and I'm in Mountain Time as well.
Oh, well, good. Good. So we'll all
Makes
still
it
be
easy.
awake.
Yeah.
And Katie?
Hi.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. And I want to talk just a little bit about the way this works, because this isn't, it's not going to work at all like Field. Field, they check roll. They know you whether you're there or not. You're in trouble if you're not. The worst thing that will happen to you in this class is, let's say it gets down to where only maybe 3 of you are participating. Well, we won't do it, because that's just a waste of everybody's time. And that will be sad, because it's really useful to participate in the class. I mean, it really is. You'll find that, I hope. And then it's also helpful to your companions in crime who don't participate in class. Now, the announcement outlined my position on that, and that is if they want to join us, yay, you know, we got plenty of room. That's one of the good things about Zoom. Y'all just wrap right on around the corner of the screen. But nobody has to come. The closest I come to taking roll is I can see your name, but I don't write it down. I don't know, you know, who's there, who's not. We will start at 6, and we will be done by 7. If you have something you want to talk about that you don't want everybody else to talk about, then we can stay. I don't have a hot date at 7 o'clock, but we'll be done by 7. We don't run over, we don't run late, unless there's something you want. So in that case, we will. Please bring questions, because that's the best part of this class, is that the syllabus is a little vague sometimes. And by October, y'all are going to see smoke coming out of each other's ears on the screen. I see it. Yeah. But I also want to set the context for that for a little bit here. And that is that whoever has the background noise, if you would mute, it would be helpful. Hey, Jane. So what we'll do in here, in some ways, will parallel your next job. And when you have your next job, your boss is not going to say, and here's your rubric, and I expect it to be a certain number of paragraphs for each point. That's just, there's Antoinette again. That's just not the way the real world works. So I want to tell you my 6 p.m. story. Some of you've had me before, some of you've heard this story before, but there's an old cliche that some child said to Abraham Lincoln, "Mr. Lincoln, your legs are so long." How long
all the way to the ground? All the way to the ground?
Yes, and that's the point. Lincoln's response was, "I don't care as long as they're all the way to the ground." I will expect your final paper to roll in around 40 pages. It will be there by Thanksgiving if you stick with me. So you're not going to write 40 pages by December 4th. You're going to turn in pieces of the paper. You'll see that in the syllabus. And then at the end, after Halloween maybe, you'll glue the pieces of your paper together, sort of. And then you'll sandpaper off the rough edges where you stuck it together. And you will use the rubric to make sure that you've covered everything I've asked you to. Because you'll have that rubric, and you might as well start now. I mean, review that rubric. That rubric is your mantra. But if you do that, if you do each assignment and then stick them all together, you'll have a 40-page paper. You will. And you'll be proud of it. I mean, it's cool. It is. Now, the first assignment, the first major assignment, doesn't have anything to do with the paper. But after that, the pieces of the assignments will come together to write your final paper. Okay? I have provided you with the Sanchez family. They're on the internet. You can use them as your case, but you don't have to. You can use a case from your internship, from your real job, from, I don't know, something you're reading that you find interesting. It doesn't have to be the Sanchez family. Now, in the case of the Sanchez family, most of the information is there. And if you'll open the website and read about the Sanchez's, there's a whole batch of them. I mean, there's just Sanchez's everywhere. And I'll tell you a story that I won't tell you which person it is, but one of the people who teaches for us, when she took this class, she couldn't make up her mind. And so she wanted to use all the Sanchez's. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's too many of them. She discovered that along about Halloween. And she had to do some surgery and dispose of a few Sanchez's out of her paper. But again, you don't have to use them. You can pick something that's of interest to you. If there's, Jane's done some macro stuff, you can pick a macro situation, a macro case. It's a little harder, and we may have to use kind of a shoehorn to make it work in the rubric. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to take a community, a food bank, a whatever, we can do that. You'll just have to work a little more closely with me. The simplest route is a Sanchez. Now, let's say that you don't like that. You want to do something at your agency, but you don't know enough about the client or whatever it is. I'm going to want you to make stuff up. Because you need to be able to answer all the questions. One student years back, they weren't the Sanchez family. We had one client that everybody had to work with. And one of the students made up a sister who had lost contact with him, and she recruited him, and he came and got the brother and took him to the hospital, and it worked really well. So, but she made up this sister. And you can do that too. I want you to make up enough of a structure that you can answer all the questions. Because in the real world, you will not have all the information, right? You really, really won't. But you'll work with what you got. The paper and the family are the core of the class. This is a practice class, and I want to really emphasize that to you. We're using research to help a client. We're not so much doing research as we're using it. And you'll be astonished in your first MSW job. You'll be astonished when you can knock the socks off your supervisor by bringing this stuff in. You know, let's say that you decide CBT is the method that you want to use with your client. Well, you're going to know why by the time you get through with this paper. You're going to know why that's what you want to use. I've learned a whole lot about animal-assisted therapy. That's been a lot of fun. Because I learn what you guys learn, because you teach me what you find out. So the point of this and the context in which I want you to think all semester is you're not just looking stuff up. You're looking stuff up to better help your client. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. And you're going to have information that's just amazing when you are in your agency. Is anybody in an agency where evidence-based practice is something that they use?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to be an amazing perspective to bring into the class, because as funding shifts and gets all squishy under our feet and all that kind of stuff, sometimes, many times, grants are going to want to know how you're going to know that what you're proposing works. And if you can show them the previous research and that you intend to replicate it, if you can, it's a great thing. It really is. Plus, you're not reinventing the wheel. So, that's sort of the beginnings of how we're going to have class. My guess is you guys have some questions, though, and I don't want to talk for an hour. Hi, Carlos.
Hi.
So, what do you want to know?
Dr. Walker, did you do introductions at the outset, and did I miss them?
No, we didn't, because I started talking too early.
Well, let's do them. That's fun to know who people are, where they are in the program.
I made them tell us what what area code they were in. I mean, what time zone. So, all right. Everybody sees the layout that looks like the Brady Bunch, right? Okay. So, Melissa, go, and then we'll just work our way.
Okay, I'm Melissa Gerasi. I'm in Tucson, Arizona. I have been working at the Denison Agency, working with children with disabilities and who also have been abused. And I also work with some adults, I just started doing this, who are in recovery. And I'm personally like 32 years in recovery.
Good for you.
So that's what I'm about.
How close are you to being finished with your
This
MSW?
is my last class.
Nice.
Ooh,
Very happy.
And for about an hour, you thought maybe we had a little glitch with the registrar's office, and Melissa thought she'd already graduated, and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. I knew. I knew that had to be a mistake, though, Dr. Walker.
yes, I did too. I was like, I don't know what happened, but she's not getting out of here without 6:40.
I know.
So welcome, Melissa.
Thank you very much.
Hannah?
Hi, I'm Hannah. I live in Austin, Texas. My husband and I actually just moved here less than 2 months ago. So we were living in the Chicago area before then. So I'm currently unemployed, but looking for work. I used to, back in the Illinois area, Wisconsin area that we lived in, I worked with youth, helping them find employment through a government program. And before that, I worked at a domestic violence shelter as an advocate. So, yeah, I have this semester left, and then I'm doing my second practicum in the spring, and then I'll be done. So, yeah.
That's one of my favorite things is how close you guys are all to graduation.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, Kyla.
Hi guys, my name's Kyla. I'm in Roswell, New Mexico, so only a couple hours away, I guess, from Silver City. I've never been there, but hopefully at graduation in May, so not too much longer, but I'm already counting down the months until graduation. I am a forensic interviewer here in Roswell, and then I also work the abuse and neglect cases of children in our community through the court system. So once they're in foster care, I work them through the system and making sure that they have some advocates and a voice in court. And so that's my second side job, not to mention my practicum on top of that. So that's why I'm ready for graduation. And so I am not the biggest fan of research classes because I struggled my last one. So I'm so sorry. I'm really gonna try my best. But when I signed up for this class, I was like, oh my gosh, another research class. And then I saw the paper and I was like, ah. So I am nervous. I'm very nervous, but I'm sure I'll be able to get through it. But Yeah, that's about me.
Okay, Amanda?
So my name is Amanda, and I live in South Florida. And I am too also nearing. I'm counting down my 15 weeks to graduation. So hopefully, because I'm taking a practicum course as well as this course to finish up, and then I'm done. But I work with my full-time job. I work with first-time offending youth at the sheriff's office here in the county. And I also, for my practicum setting, I'm working for a mental health facility that provides therapy, psychiatry, but also provides services with kids that have autism, Down syndrome, doing like speech therapy, behavior therapy, occupational therapy. So it's not far from what I was doing prior to going to the sheriff's office. But it's a little different because it's for profit. The agency, I usually, for 8 years before this, I've always worked for a not-for-profit agency, and I definitely see some differences in between them.
Yeah. Okay, Ash? Ash?
Hello, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I am. I just recently relocated to Boise, Idaho, so I've only been here about a week. And at least I got the internet going, and everything else is in boxes. So I'm not working yet, but I start my practicum at the Idaho Veterans Home on Thursday. So I'm going to be doing that, but I'm hoping to pick up part-time work maybe in palliative care or hospice, because ultimately I want to go into palliative social work. My last practicum was at Providence Hospital in Portland, Oregon, where I moved from, and I really enjoyed it. And I will be done with the program on December 7th. I'm finishing up 4 classes this fall, and I'm happy to be done.
Well, apparently this class sort of had an investment in U-Haul, it looks like.
Yep.
Okay, Amy?
Hi there, my name's Amy, and I live just outside of the Denver metro area in a mountain community called Evergreen. And I'm currently placed at a dialysis clinic, so I work in 2 separate clinics, and my second semester at this practicum starting this fall, and then I hope to graduate on December 7th as well. So I have this and 2 other classes this semester.
So are you coming to graduation?
I haven't decided yet. It depends.
Yes.
I'm hopeful.
I will pressure you guys when we get closer.
Okay.
Did Katie disappear? Okay, Valerie.
Hello, I am Valerie, and I live in the New Orleans area, New Orleans, Louisiana. I've been here 4 years, and my current job is full-time social work at a hospital. I've been doing hospital work for 19 years, and so I am pursuing my master's degree because currently I'm doing my field placement with alcohol and substance abuse. It's an inpatient treatment facility, and it's a job that I thoroughly enjoy. I love the hospital, but I'm kind of maybe a little burnout on it, and I'm looking for a change, and so I have to have a master's in order to move into a different population, and so that's it.
I do love New Orleans.
I do too. It's always a party.
Yes. Well, I'm from Arkansas, so pretty close down there. All right, Jane.
Sorry about the sun is fading quickly here. I'm on the East Coast, just outside of Washington, D.C., in an area called Bethesda, Maryland. And I am by day a writer and editor for the Census Bureau. I'm their senior editor, but I had a transformative moment on a mountaintop in Nepal right after the first earthquake and during the second, where I realized that all of my free time was being spent as a first responder. I'm a medic, volunteer medic, and then I do hospice work, and also recently some crisis care work. And so I realized that life is really short, and I should go back to school and sorry, there's a plane, and get my MSW, and maybe that would lead to a change in careers, although I really love my day job, or maybe it would just enrich what I bring to the bedside in hospice. But I'm really happy that I made that decision. Dr. Walker helped me make it for sure. And if things go according to plan, I will graduate on December 8th, and I plan to be there. It's like a big field trip my whole family is planning to make together. So
good. Good. It's a really cool experience. So that's why I'll be harassing you. Ryan?
Hello, so my name is Ryan, and I reside in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have until May before I graduate, so this will be my last mandated course I have to take. I'll probably take some more since I have another semester anyways. Might as well tack on some more, right? So right now I'm primarily a stay-at-home dad to my 20-month-old son, who drives me crazy, but absolutely love him and enjoying the time with him. And other than that, I'm just doing my practicum, which I am doing at the NSAW Mexico chapter here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, under the supervision of Dr. Quam.
Right. Some of you may have had her for 540.
Yeah.
Yes, and before her, I did not like research at all. And I even struggled with her, and I fought with her a little bit on, research, but she got me through, and she actually got me a little bit more interested in it. So I'm not as dreading this class as much as I initially had thought. But in the practicum now, I'm going to be doing a lot of research stuff, and so I'm very excited to develop some of those skills, and I'm looking forward to it. But other than that, I serve in the Navy Reserves as a helicopter mechanic, so completely different from social work. And previously I had my undergraduate degree in criminal justice, and I became a pretrial services officer, which is similar to a probation officer. And that career is actually what kind of pushed me into social work, because I was actually just, to say at least, I was very disgusted in what I witnessed, working for the court system. So I'm happy to be here, and hopefully I can apply some of this research to correct some problems in New Mexico.
Good. Antoinette?
Yes, I'm Antoinette Sinuous. I go by Andy. So I see a couple people from my previous class. So please feel free to call me that. I am on the East Coast in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So not too far from Jane, a little south of Jane. And I am not working outside the home, outside of my internship, but I will be doing my internship both this semester and next semester. I'm graduating in the spring in a local public school, which is ultimately where I hope to be employed, is in the public school system as a school social worker. So I'm excited to get in the school system. My previous work experience has actually been in the school setting, but with at-risk populations through grant-funded programs through my state. So a little different environment, but still somewhat the same as far as being in the school setting. So I'm excited to get back in there. Last year, I did my internship at a pediatric medical facility, and I worked both with children and families who were coming in for regular checkups with their physician, as well as with the developmental pediatricians who are working with children with autism and other developmental concerns. And so that was a great experience. Learned a lot about the interdisciplinary interactions with other disciplines, and I feel like I gained a lot from that, and I'm excited to get back in the school setting.
Good. Jen.
Oh, hello. Oh my goodness, I was so intently listening to everybody. I wasn't ready to get called on. I am located in Vista, California, which is North County, San Diego. I am currently at an incredible agency. I'm so lucky. I have so much gratitude to be there. It's called North County Lifeline, and they provide a multitude of different programs and services to the community, as well as just open up their campus to facilitate like policy meetings. They just had a Starbucks hiring event there. And I want to try to spend my advanced year practicum there because they have different programs. But I too, as other people have said, I have felt a calling and a connection and a passion to hospice. So I have a connection with the Elizabeth Hospice in this area, and they're willing to take me. But there's just, you know, nerves and fear and everything because it's such an incredible agency. Like the support, my supervisor, group supervision, like everything just is comfortable. So I'm I'm in the unknown, so I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I'm in the youth development program. So I work with adolescents who are in informal probation that have diversion, and some are self-referrals, just in regards to having challenges in their life and just having a place to come where they can get help. And so it's like psychoeducational, CBT, solution focused, strengths based is a huge perspective that the agency works from. And let's see, I bill for durable medical equipment. That's my job. It's very boring and monotonous, but I feel like I'm helping a little. And I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. I'm like the baby in the group. I'm graduating next fall, guys. So,
well, 640 is a little early in that trajectory, but
yeah. Professor Cook, you know, she approved it. So I actually really do like research. And like you said, Dr. Walker, the difference is it's not really like you're researching. It's like you're formulating it together. And I will say to everyone, like, I like research. And the reason that I do is in my undergraduate research course, my professor did it exactly like Dr. Walker does it, which is you piece the sections together as you go. And it was really foreign and it was really awkward and bizarre, but we just like trusted her and she led the way. And by the end of the semester, I saw like I had that huge like, you know, picture of how it was put together and it made sense. So I don't know.
Okay, so I hope that everybody in here was taking notes on it because that's true and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and it's hard to see. You have to kind of like blindly trust the professor, and she was great. She led us through it, and I was able at the end, you know, it's like hindsight to see how it works, but it does. And I don't know, it sparked my interest, and I really love doing like the mixed method of quantitative and qualitative together, and I'm excited to integrate it the way that you were talking about with using it in practical, you know, application within our agencies.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about evaluation, like they need some way of evaluating that these things are working. So I like that. So
good.
Yeah.
So yay.
I'm the baby and the token research lover.
Well, now see, maybe I'll get all of you all to that position.
One question though, I'm sorry, class, hold on to the other. I do have a client at 6 o'clock. So is it okay if I leave like probably around 5:45?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Christina?
Hello, everyone. I am in Greensboro, North Carolina. I was born and raised here, been here my whole entire life. And I am in the advanced standing program. I'll be graduating in May, and I'm really proud of this accomplishment. And I'll tell you this, just which doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I want to tell y'all anyway, is that I have a long history of a lot of things a lot of struggles, and I've created a lot of bad circumstances for myself. And as a result, it was impossible for me to get into a university in my state when I just made the decision that I wanted to go back to school. And so as I was looking for an accredited university for social work, I was on the CSW website, And I found Western New Mexico University, and then I looked at cost, and then I looked at scholarships, and everything just came together. And the very first person that I came into contact with was Patty West O'Curry. And I basically just started sobbing on the phone with her, and she said, Christina, just take a breath. We're social workers. This is what we do. Let us see how we can help you. And so that is the spirit of social work that I have continued to get at this university. And it's what I hope to emulate in my professional practice. And when it was time for me to go to graduate school, the universities in my state had started a collegiate recovery program and had circled back around and wanted to get me to do my graduate program there. And I was like, no way. There's no way I'm leaving Western New Mexico University. You know, they accepted me and they took me in as I was and where I was. And so with that, I just want to say thank you, Dr. Walker. And it's a really great program.
Christina, you should do the commencement speech for graduation. Like, honestly, that was so well worded and it was just beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Congratulations, too.
Thanks.
If you don't mind, I will tell Patty that story that it came up in class tonight. Let me tell you all a quick piece about her, though, about West O'Curry. When I came to Western, it was 13 years ago, and we had a BSW program. And there were 4 students that were seniors. That's all we had. And we had maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 that were juniors. And one of those students was Professor West O'Curry. And she went through the BSW program with me. And then we started the MSW. She went through it with us. And so she knows how to do what Christina just explained. You know, she knows how that feels. She didn't have a social work background. She's a marketer, which is one of the reasons she recruited Christina. But she's a marketer, and now she's almost through with her doctorate. So, you know, we're big believers in education, but we're also big believers with starting where we are. So, yay, Christina.
Thanks.
Okay, Carlos.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carlos, and I am from El Paso, Texas. I am currently, this is my last class, and I haven't started my field practicum, but I'm pretty, not nervous about it, but I have so many questions regarding the field practicum.
Do you know where you're going to do it?
No, I have no clue. I'm totally lost. I have no idea how it works. Like I said, this is my last class, as in content, but I just have to do my field practicum. I have been working for an immigration law firm for 11 years, and I currently volunteer with MAGA, which is Make America Great Again, Doors Not Walls, and we basically work with immigrants who are detained in immigration facilities here in El Paso, Texas. But I just do that to volunteer, and hopefully I get to be placed in anything that has to do with immigration, because I love it.
Well, this group will be able to help you talk about that. And we have lots of opportunity to interact and, you know, talk to each other in this class. So they'll be able to do that. And then, of course, so will Professor Cook. And it sounds like there ought to be places for you to do it with that background.
Here in El Paso, it's a border with a border. So it's really, really big here in El Paso.
It is.
Can you explain what that is for those of us who don't know? I don't understand the Make America Great Again, Doors Not Walls. I've never heard that before.
You volunteer for an organization, which basically you get to interact with people who are detained in immigration centers. You get to talk to them. Sometimes they write letters, but they're in Spanish, and we can translate the letters to that are going to the system or to other family members, and we just basically volunteer where everything they need. They need to have someone. A lot of these people they don't have anyone to talk to, and they just basically need support from other people.
So who's the sponsoring organization?
To be honest, I have no idea how that came out. Just volunteer in this in the group, but I don't know how it's run or who's the main leader. I just volunteer with other different people.
But I'm just curious because it sounds like it's part of the administration because that's their slogan, right? But so is it interfacing on their behalf with them?
Yeah, we basically get together every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. And then they give us activities. Like this past Wednesday, we had an activity where it was we had to translate a lot of the letters from people who were detained and all that.
So, Carlos, to piggyback on Jane's question, is it part of the Trump administration?
No, not at all. It's a group from here in El Paso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not at all.
No,
I was Googling it while you all were talking.
So was I.
Yeah.
It can't be part of the Trump administration because you said no walls.
No, and that's why
it's a wall.
And that's why it's called Doors, Not Walls.
Yeah, exactly. Doors, not walls. So definitely can't be part of Trump.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
For those of you who haven't been there, El Paso is like the quintessential border.
El Paso is like Mexico.
Yes, and that's the airport we use, and so we go to the airport to El Paso, and we pass. It's so clearly Mexico. You know, everything we pass is so clearly Mexico. And those of you, again, who haven't been to Silver City, we have, from my house, it's about an hour and a half to Mexico. But it's a very different piece of Mexico than El Paso. I'll try to find the article that was in the paper, but the children in the town that's an hour and a half from here get on a bus and ride up toward our town to go to public school. So it's Mexican children. And every single morning and every single afternoon, they have to go through customs. So those big customs ICE agents and all are there, and there's little tiny people with their backpacks. They're so cute. But they're getting on the bus to come up to Deming, which is a town where we still have a campus. Western has a campus. And if you fly into El Paso, you'll see what Carlos and I are talking about. It's an amazing place. It really is. And
I found a little bit on it.
Okay.
It says that it offers a creative outlet for first-generation immigrant children in solidarity to ICE detainees. With our current administration, immigration is a heavily disputed topic, and it's important to raise awareness of the laws that lead to family separation and arbitrary treatment of human beings. And that's the founder, Heidi Alonso. And he said, I understand these laws, as antiquated as they may be, must be followed, but I want people to understand that there's a human side to all this. These are fathers, mothers, and grandparents in distress seeking better opportunities for themselves and their loved ones.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Interesting. That really is interesting. And I know many of us went,
yeah.
Yeah. Gave me a little bit of goosebumps, but his name is Heidi Alonso.
Yeah.
Haydee Alonso.
Yeah, basically what she just graduated, she got her master's in London, but she's more into, she got her master's in art. So what she does is she goes to the detainee centers to teach many of the women and many artistic ways of basically living because they're detained.
Yeah. That's what she was showing on there is like the art installation that came to, or art exhibition that came to El Paso.
Yeah. And then from there, there's volunteers that are given several roles, which is like you can translate later, you can go to the detaining centers to talk to these people, and sometimes you just want to cry. with all those
I bet.
It's really, really sad, but someone's got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Well, and see, now you're getting your master's in social work. So there you go.
And Carlos, do you speak Spanish fluently?
That's my first language. 100%.
It is that's incredible. That's so amazing. That is one part that's hard for me in my agency is I really wish that I was bilingual in Spanish because I feel like I could help a lot more people. Although the agency is great, like they're supportive with translation and everything, but such an amazing, incredible thing. I can't think that you can speak Spanish fluently. It's awesome. That's great.
Also, Dr. Walker, if I could just speak to what I detected as some apprehension from Carlos about the practicum. It's so, we all went through that. Oh my gosh. It's like, it can be almost paralyzing, the fear of it, because it seems so big. But then as you start to talk to people about it, like each of us have found, first of all, locating one is doable through Dot Burton is just amazing. She's amazing and she'll help you. You're so close that they can probably point you to places. And once you start doing it, it's not nearly as huge as it seems. It seems so big from a distance, like it eclipses everything, but it's completely doable because we're all either doing it or have done it. So
Absolutely. I second what Jane said. And see this wrinkle right here? That is one of my souvenirs from my first practical. I'm just kidding.
Well, let me interrupt here and tell you a quick little story. So my first practicum as an MSW student, I was driving, this was before Distance had, an hour and a half each way every day to graduate school. And I said, what am I going to do for my internship? And they said, oh, we have a health department identified for you. Well, they didn't mention it was on the other side of Memphis. So it added another 45 minutes to my commute. I got there. I was going to be the queen of doing this. And so they showed me my office, and it was this little tiny room that belonged to the dietitian at the health department who was on maternity leave. And so it was covered, all the walls were covered in plastic food, like plastic vegetables and plastic fruit. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was there for like 3 weeks and never a client, not once, not even a human darkened my door. So my supervisor, my Professor Cook level person, showed up one day and he said, Beth, we sort of have a plan. I said, okay. And he said, I would like to meet with you every other week for an hour on campus. Okay. And he said, other than that, we won't be checking on you. Okay. So we spent the rest of the semester finding a working field placement for me. And I didn't darken the door of the health department again. I still had this incredible aversion to plastic food. No way. But I did have subsequently the most amazing internships. And I'm a BSW, so I only had to do 2. And that second one just made up for it. And Jane knows I'm a real macro person. And I did an economic development plan for a little tiny town in the Mississippi Delta as my internship the second time. And it was just wonderful and amazing. And there was no plastic food anywhere. I think we skipped Katie.
And I have to go really quick. See you guys later.
See you next
If I can get off of this thing. How do I do it?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Katie. I live in Sacramento, California. I I currently work at a nonprofit, have for the last almost 3 years, a nonprofit working with like foster, adopted, and probation youth. I work as a facilitator in like a wraparound program. So a lot of what the goals of what we work in is trying to find permanency for the kids, basically trying to make sure they have all the services they need. Whether that's, probation youth, trying to help get them off probation and find family that's stable, or if that's like foster youth who are in group homes, we try to like get them into permanent, where they have permanent stable placement. It's great. It's a challenge. I get to work with all sorts of fun and interesting kids and absolutely love it. The harder the better. I found the ones that are like the really tough ones, I'm like, give them to me.
Well, you have an amazing database with wraparound,
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it is so evidence-based driven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and do a little bit of everything, which is what I love about wraparound.
And the families and the community and wraparound.
It's great. It's
okay. Thank you, Jane. I'm glad you reminded us that we needed to be social too. And these connections, I can't tell you. I mean, for many years after my MSW, if I needed to know something about wraparound, I would pick up the phone and call my equivalent of Katie. I knew somebody who knew something about almost anything out there. So that's a wonderful thing. And we'll continue to talk about what's going on as we go through the rest of the semester. Now that we've sort of developed a little more rapport here, is there anything that you guys have questions about getting started? Because otherwise, I'm going to spend
I have a question.
Yes. Yeah, scared her.
So, well, because sometimes it I see that it's like in and out. So sometimes it stops. I didn't know when it. But I was looking for the rubric that you were talking about for that final assignment, and I couldn't find it. Or like when I looked at I don't know where it's at.
Well, it's probably in a module that isn't unlocked.
Oh, okay.
And you've got a couple of weeks before you'll need it, because that first major assignment has nothing to do with the final paper. It's the only one that doesn't. But good question, and I'll do my best to remember to go ahead and bring the rubric forward.
Okay.
It'll give you a context for what we're doing.
Oh, we'll help you. We'll help you, Dr. Walker.
Okay.
So are you going to unlock things as we go?
And I know that when
somebody said something. Okay.
Well, I know when I took the 540 class with you, you had an example paper, like a final example paper. Are you going to also be providing one as well?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that, and let me tell you why. So the main reason I'm not a huge fan of it, particularly in this course, is I spend an incredible amount of time saying, just because that's what Amanda's doing doesn't mean it's what Ash needs to do. I spend more time than I should trying to make sure that you guys understand that freaking out because in your conversations and your discussions, it sure looks like Ryan is focused more on macro than you are. And what are you going to do? Oh my God, you don't even know how to write about that stuff, but he's got macro, and how you going to, And so if I give you a sample paper, you want to make it like that. And I don't want to grade that many times. I want to know what you find. If we get closer, there's a couple of folks. Has anybody had Corinne Smora as a teacher? Corinne wrote a great paper. And if I need to, I will make it. That's okay. Bye, Amy. If I need to, I will. I don't think I'll need to, but if I do, I will. A hint to get started with, because this is crucial throughout the term. I am the worst person you will ever have for APA. I will rip it to pieces. And you won't understand why, because you're trying to figure out how to help your client. What on earth does it matter what the margin is? Well, if you ever work, for example, for Children's Protective Service, and you turn in a crappy court report that doesn't address what the judge wants, the parents might lose the kid. Or sometimes worse, the parents might get the kid back without the right services, blah, blah. And so I'm going to hold you to a particular standard that is arbitrary. Absolutely, it is arbitrary. But by the time you write the 40-page paper, if your running head is in the wrong font, I'll see you again. I will see you again. You will not pass 640. And you will be so mad. Don't use a template that you find in Word. If I see that little fern go up the side of your paper, I'll see you again.
What's the fern? What little fern?
Some of those templates in Word, one of them in particular has a little fern that goes up on it because it's cute.
So, Dr. Walker, not that I want to interrupt this fear-mongering diatribe, but it would be really helpful if we had a template, given the importance of getting this precisely right. Totally, we all agree that it's arbitrary, but it is what it is.
Yes.
So I would just advocate for us that having a template would be super useful.
That's a position that people occasionally take. It's not to be recommended. I'd like you to learn rather than use somebody else's stuff, which is really what particularly those Word templates are. Now, there is a sample paper at OWL at Purdue that is accurate.
But I don't think it includes the margins, does it? The specs on the margins, or exactly how many spaces the overhanging.
It's not how many spaces, it's an inch.
No, I meant in like the references. I know you have to do the overhang, and so
it is correct.
Yeah. So
when I open it, there's also a Word paper that is accurate that you can impose your paper on if you so choose.
And where could we find that?
I'll get it open. I mean, it'll be with the rubric.
Can I make a suggestion? If you go, Patty Westo Curry in one of the classes posted a YouTube video, and the YouTube video goes in and tells you how to go into Word, set up your margin, set up your running head, how to insert it, insert the page number, how to indent, and it tells you how to set your Word up so that it will meet all of the APA guidelines. So
I'll try to ask Patty for that video. I've had it
Yeah.
before. So
It's excellent. It saved me, and I haven't had a bit of problem since because it's really simple.
good. So that's an important thing. And I understand your point, Jane, and this is a early semester conversation every term. So we'll get to the end, and many of you will see down in the comments with your first paper, your running head is an incorrect font. I would suggest you not do that too many times. Yeah, Katie?
How far out is the assignment going to be like released?
Well,
I want to try to plan for my semester.
Here's yes, and I understand what y'all are talking about. I really do. We did things a little differently this term. So each class is smaller. Each section is smaller. And so for the same number of students I'm used to, I have 6 sections. That's one of the reasons it may have been your class that I didn't get the introductions open quickly enough. Somebody's class, I didn't get the introductions. Wasn't it, Christina? Yeah. Well, I opened it in 5 of them. And so trying to get 6 sections to match is why the other modules aren't open yet. So I hope by Sunday night, I'll have it all the way to the end of the term.
I have a question about with the APA format. Are you expecting that in our discussion posts as well? I know, no. Okay.
No, I don't. I expect citation.
Okay.
But I don't expect APA looking.
Okay.
Quick example, it's 3 minutes till 7, I promised you, but quick example. If you look at your paper, and I don't mean the discussion, the real paper, if you look at any paper you're turning in, and you fuzzy up your eyes so that you're not looking like at the letters, but you're looking at the way the lines look and stuff, and it looks to you like there's an extra line between each paragraph, there probably is. And it's a bad thing. And I will catch you on it, and I will give you a JPEG of how to fix it. But those are the things that we'll work on throughout the semester. But in the rubrics for the assignments, there is a row for APA. You will lose points from day 1 on assignments, not discussions. Does that make sense? And I will help you, and if you run into a problem, ask. Text, use your text. I'm happy to respond to text. Okay.
I mean, Dr. Walker, the sample paper on the Purdue OWL is excellent.
It is.
I mean, that's what I use as a Bible.
Yeah, and it is. And if you print it up, like physically print it up, and lay your paper, there you go. Look at Ash. And lay your paper next to it. Lots of things should look the same. They really should. Not the stuff at the end. I don't care about figures and charts. I don't care about that. But the middle of the paper, yes. The title page, yes. Okay. So, thank you very much. We'll get there. I promise we will get there. If you stay with me, this is like, sometimes you're going to feel like you're in a snowstorm. Just put your hand out. We'll travel together, I promise. We will. Okay? Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good meeting, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Good meeting, y'all. Good night.
Bye-bye.